Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back over. Um, right now, we have Danny with Chasing Bones Inspectors,
Hello,
and
hello.
Danny has been in the paranormal field. I think he's one of the people that has the most experience in the paranormal field that I've met. So he's full of knowledge.
Thank you.
You're
I
very welcome.
tried.
So, guys, if you have any questions for him, make sure you put them in all caps so we can see them. And his link is in the description. I'm sure most of you already know who this man is, but if you don't, please go take a look at his channel. So, why don't we start off, Danny, with just you telling us a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Oh, all right. Well, I just basically celebrated my 52nd anniversary working in the paranormal with the diocese and the Druid Association and the Shaman or Shaman Association, depends on how you pronounce it. Um, And I've done everything from, I don't know, exorcisms of people, houses, and buildings to blessing holy lands, things like that. I've I've had a lot of really uh, bad experiences, like not bad as in, but hard work. Like helping people and getting rid of possessions and oppressions and all that kind of thing. And it's been a lot of there's been a lot of times where I had to shake my head a couple of times and say, why am I doing this? Um, But the channel itself, like Jason Bones Inspectors, my paranormal investigating, that's what I do to relax. You know, doesn't make a lot of sense because the work is very stressful. It's a lot of hard work a lot of times. But doing my paranormal investigations and going out and doing these places and everything else, it's just fun. I just have so much fun and enjoy it so much. I think mainly because I'm not responsible for the spirits that are there. I think it's mainly because I can go there, investigate. I don't have to worry if they're still there when I leave. I don't have to deal with them or anything else in any way. And I can be me. I can be positive, laugh, joke around, have a good time. I don't have to ever uh, put on the old serious face. Like when you're dealing with something that's invading a house or whatever, a lot of times you've got to be stern and you're not allowed to. Well, yeah, I guess you could do it if you want to, but you're not really gonna do much if you don't show that you're there for business. So, I mean, there's a big difference between the two in that aspect of
That's awesome. You've always blown my mind with a lot of the things that you know.
it.
And you've always been one that we could go to if we needed, if we had some kind of booger or something that we didn't know what to do. You've always been one we could come to. Um, how do you think, because you have been in the paranormal field so long, how do you think things have changed over the years?
Night and day. And even from even I gotta give credit where credit is due. Even though a lot of the TV shows, I watch it and I go, oh yeah, that's crap. Oh yeah, that's crap. Some of it is really good though. Like some of it is really good evidence, but there's a lot of stuff that I know just because of so much doing it that wasn't like exactly 100% right. But credit where credit is due. All these different uh, channels, and I'm not saying they're all crap or anything like that, but all these different channels that have been on TV, stuff like that, they have brought the paranormal from the back alleys literally to kitchen table talk. You know what I mean? So they have opened up in that aspect. I mean, that's the best thing that they ever did was the fact that people aren't afraid to say the word ghost. Okay. Now, when I was young, so many years ago. Anyway, when I was young, when I started in this business, we all had our own groups. We had our own network, as it were. We didn't have internet or anything like this, but we did have our phone calls and we did have our backyard talks and stuff. But see, back then you couldn't say ghost or paranormal or talk about this type of thing in open forum or in public because you got locked up for it, Um, and the treatment, was really bad for anyone in the paranormal. This that's been in it for a long time. Like if you think back, you know, I thought about a lot of times hanging it up just because people would say, "Hey, you're nuts" and everything else, and I ended up in the institution. Like 4 times. I think it was 3 or 4 times anyway. And the treatments were something else. Let me tell you. Um, and like they give you shock therapy, water treatment. It was bad. I mean, like you get a shock treatment, you go, oh, look at all the pretty colors. There's blue and yellow, and they all go together. Like anyway, the last time that I was there, uh, it was one of those experiences that sticks with you, just because of what it was. Anyway, I was at my lowest point at that time, because uh, about 4 months before that, I had to do an exorcism. So I was already worn out and everything else. And then 2 months before, so there was 4 months, and 2 months later, I ended up having to do another exorcism. And then 2 months later, here I am in the nut house because apparently I'm nuts. And so I remember that night, and this is just to give you, like how it was then compared to now, right? I remember that night when that happened. It's still to this day the pain of it, and yet the joy part of it too, right? We're going back 35 years, and I can never tell this without it affecting me. But yeah, because I was so low at that time. I had a buddy that worked there. That he was institutionalized with me a few times. A big boy, funny guy. Anyway, I was seriously gonna end my life. I was tired of the shit. I was tired of um, literally being tortured for like 3 4 weeks at a time, just because I'm doing my job. Like I get sent in by the diocese to do a job, and then instead of them admitting what I was doing, that I was working for them, it's non-disclosure because you're not allowed to talk about confessions or talk about certain jobs that you do. So they're not going to back me up. So now all of a sudden I'm saying, oh no, yeah, they send me. Well, we have no comment on that, right? So now, I was basically done. So this guy, buddy, he said, if you want to go out, he says, I don't want you to die. He says, I don't want you to die, but if you're going to die, he says, I will help you. And I said, how are you going to help me, buddy? He said, I'll just rip off one of those windows up there and then you can just jump out if you really want to. And that's what this guy, he'd get tired of, want fresh air or whatever. So he'd go, and the windows they had to be 300 pounds, and they were solid windows, but they had a wire cage bolted to the windows, bolted to the walls. And he'd get mad and he'd go start shaking it and rip the whole window out of the wall and toss it like 20 feet behind him. He says, if you ever want out, he says, you let me know. He says, and I'll rip the window out for you. He says, but I don't want to. But if that's what you want, I'll do it. So I said, okay. So anyway, he was quite willing to help me. And I decided one day I'm going to take him up on it because we're on the fourth floor, right? And the right underneath the window is solid cement. I mean, I would have been done toast. I'd just do a dive and be done with this shit. Well, anyway, so I'm sitting there, lowest point of my life. And I got my back against the door because I don't want to be disturbed because I'm, you know, seeing if there's anything else I can do or my prayers or what, I'm just trying to grab onto some hope at that point. And it was the second time I saw an angel. And she was the same angel I saw when I was 5 years old. And I didn't even look at her. She spoke, and I recognized her voice. Bam, you know, it was the exact same voice, same tone, same everything. And she said, "Danny, sweetheart, you can't give up because we need you to help us with these bad things, you know." And I looked up at her, and yep, for sure it was the same angel I saw, 20 years earlier. I cried like a baby. I said, "Okay, you got a deal. I'll hang around for a while and see how it goes." And um, so I got up, brushed myself off, and I went out, saw my buddy. He says, "Leave the window alone." And he jumps up and down, yay, yay, yay. So he's running all over the floor saying, "I don't have to rip the window out. I don't have to rip the window out." And it made me laugh so hard. But yeah, that's how it was then. Like when I was working, like and you'll see a lot of these different exorcism cases, and that one on, the one exorcist on TV, the very original one, and everything else. That's all it was. I mean, that was pretty much what would happen. Okay, spitting the pea soup was added, and walking down the stairs on backwards on that. No, I've never seen that. You know, and I've never seen anyone's head be like an owl. But I mean, other than that, yeah, I mean, it was pretty damn close to what it's like. And anyway, that's pretty much. But nowadays, nowadays you can talk to people in restaurants. You can hey, yeah, hey, you ever see a ghost? Like, and everybody's so laid back with it. Uh, so yeah, I mean, people's people doing the things that they've done and promoting their channels, and all the YouTubians, that promote paranormal and all these things, they all add to the fact that the world is finally taking their eyes out of their pocket, and looking at, how else do you explain this stuff? Like, how do you deal with it? And it's now, uh, believe it or not, they've done so many of these case studies. It's now that 60% of the world, okay, population, believe in the spirit world, believe in ghosts, believe in demons, believe in all this stuff. Um, Compared to, I think it was like 3% when I started. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's changed. Unbelievable how much it's changed over the years. So keep up the good work.
I love how you explain that. And yes, it definitely has changed a lot. In all of your experiences doing your paranormal investigations or your exorcism, what do you think? What case stands out to you the most?
Oh, there's only one case. I still have nightmares about it. I got PSTD from this one case. It was actually a couple, and it was in a huge apartment complex, um, in a very bad. At that time, it was a nasty side of town, sort of a deal in this place. And Aluna wants to say hi, everybody. And so, yeah, it was not a good place. Anyway, uh, I can't even remember where it was. I might have been at my mother's or something. I don't know where it was. But anyway, the phone rings, and one of the one of the fathers is on the phone with a pastor. So there's two of them, and they said, "Could you get down to this location? We need you now, right?" And I'm like, "Why? I mean, there's two of you." And they said, "Well, we're leaving. First chance we get, we want to get out of here." And I'm like, "Okay, well, this doesn't sound good." But anyway, I went, and the whole damn thing. This is one of those things that you never forget for whatever reasons. But I guess the fact is it was just so bad. But anyway, I walked into the lobby, and as I took my second step in, it was ice cold, right? Like, I'm freezing, and I'm looking, right, What the hell? So I start to go to the stairs because I think it was on the third floor. It might have been the second floor. I don't know. Not important. Anyway, so I grabbed onto the wooden, the stairwell with the wooden railing that goes all the way up. It was French provincial railing. It was a beautiful place, but as soon as I put my hand on the railing, my hand got wet. I look at the railing and it's covered in frost. Okay. It's covered in frost, and I'm like, what the heck? So I think, okay, I need to see what's going on. So I went up to the first floor. I went in the door, and there's a heat register right there. And it says that it's 82 degrees inside this building, but there's frost in the stairwells, right? Oh my God. So anyway, I go to the next floor. And as I open up the door, like the hallway door to go into that section of the apartments, big blast of cold air comes through me, it almost knocks me on my ass. And I'm like, holy crap. I took one step into the hallway. And as soon as I stepped into the hallway, I heard this growl and this voice that said, you better F off right now. Right. And I'm like, no, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to take off. I'm here to find out what's going on. So I had the apartment number and I looked at it. So I start walking towards the apartment itself. As I'm walking towards all the doors, both sides of the hallway, handles, like this is nuts. This is like, what the hell? So I finally got to the door. I knock on the door and they said, come in. So I'm trying to open this door. Can't open the door. I says, the door is stuck. I can't get in. So um, I think it was Reverend Teal. I'm not sure. He grabbed the other side door and he started trying to open, and I was trying to push it. And we'd get it open a little bit and slam shut, get it open a bit and slam shut. On the third time, as we got it open, I dove in and it slammed right behind me, just about took my foot off, but I got in, right? So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Anyway, so there's this couple, and they're on the kitchen table, right? So the guy's lying across this way, and the girl's right beside him on the table, lying there. And the smell and the growling and all the noises and everything, it was really freaky. And it stunk to high heaven. It smelled like sulfur combined with rotten eggs and dead flesh. Okay, it was bad. And for some reason, flies everywhere. Just like in that one movie. I don't know which movie it was, but you remember when there was so many flies? This place, I don't think there was a window or a stove, glass door on the stove, or a cupboard or whatever that wasn't infested with bloody flies, right? So anyway, I'm trying to get some quick what's going on sort of a thing. And so the other father that was there, he told me that this couple purposely uh, was doing stuff to summon demons because they wanted the power of the demons. But then they got to the point where I guess it got so bad they were trying everything to get rid of them themselves, and they were going to church and they're trying to get away from these demons. Well, I guess these demons decided, we ain't done with you, right? So they both got completely possessed. The only thing that saved them really was the fact that they didn't want that. Like they finally came to the realization that what they were doing was really stupid. Had they accepted it, had they wanted it, there was nothing anyone could do because that would be called a perfect possession. And once that happens, I don't care who you are, you're not going to help. Okay, they're done until they decide that they don't want to be there anymore, right? Because if they don't have the fight, or if they like it, how you get them out if they like it being there, right? So it's just that it just doesn't, it's just the way it is. So anyway, so I'm sitting there saying, okay, fine. So we thought we'd try a couple things just to find out who they are or whatever. So the kitchen table's here. There's like a wide door here that goes into the living room part, and that's where the front door to come in was. The bathroom was on that side. There was a kitchenette up here, and the bedrooms were on that side of the where it was. So anyway, I'm standing at the table at the foot of the guy, where the guy is lying across the table. So I simply asked, "Hey, demon, what's your name?" And he simply said, "Go to hell." And I literally went off my feet about 6 feet through the friggin' wall that goes into the bedroom. Okay. It didn't even touch me. There was no physical contact from this guy on the table. But the force that came out of there, it freaking knocked me a good 10 feet. And I went right through a bedroom wall onto the floor, damn near knocked my ass out. Right. So I sat there, you go, cool. Like, now I am terrified, because this bugger is retardedly strong. Right. Of course, you can't let anyone or anything know that it even disturbed you. Right. Because then you're done. So what I did was I started laughing. Once I started laughing, I couldn't stop. And everybody else in the room was looking at me. And I got up and I walked back through the wall that I just went through. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, Buttercup, that's not a bad punch, but you're going to pay for that. I promise you, you're going to pay for that." Right? And I was laughing, scared shitless. I probably needed three or four pairs of underwear at that point, but um, I'm putting on that it was hilarious. So we start doing it, and we're working on this guy, and at the same time, the other guy is working on the girl, and the third guy is kind of trying to help both of us because this is a couple that's possessed, right? So okay, fine. We start actually, I start to feel we're actually getting somewhere with the guy when the spirit in the woman says, "Leave my husband alone, asshole." And I went flying out the front window, 3 stories up. We were on the third floor. I remember once I thought about going through the window. I went crashing through the window, straight down to the sidewalk. And the only thing that saved me, okay, was this was a fancy place, and it had one of those eaves, with the rag thing there, and it had the name of the apartment complex on it, like something blah 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 court, whatever. But it had one of those, what do you call it, canopy thingies, right? Well, I landed on that for about 3 seconds, and I went, and I fell through it. But the fact that I stopped for a couple of seconds and fell through um, saved my life, you know. So I'm lying there and it's like, oh God, do I have to go back in there? I should probably just go buy a burger and go home. And so I stood up, I look in the window, my shoulder is popped out. The shoulder's up here. Right here, I even got, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look right here, that big indent, that's where the bone on my forearm came through my arm. So I'm like, shit, this sucks, right? So I grabbed the door handle and I go like this, and I literally threw my ass backwards to the ground, and I managed to pop my bone that came through here. It kind of went forward and then slid back. It wasn't exactly in place, but it wasn't hanging out of my arm, which was a good thing. So then I picked up, there was this garbage can, so I picked it up with this hand underneath and held it like this, held it to the side, and then dropped the can, and that popped the shoulder back in. And I remember looking at Astro and I said, why the hell am I doing this? And, this was a big, I think I've told you all this story before anyway, but this was one of the biggest lessons, and I've been, by this time, I've been doing this 25 years, right? And I think this was probably the biggest bloody lesson I ever got, because I was judging these people, right? I was like, Astro, why the hell am I here? These assholes wanted these demons in their life, and I'm getting beat up, thrown through walls, tossed out windows. Like, what the hell am I? They got what they deserve. Why am I even here? Right? Because I was livid. I was very upset and angry and disappointed and scared. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was shit scared. Um, there are a few cases when you work them, man, you learn about fear real quick. You know what I mean? Like I've been scared before, but this was unbelievable. But then Astro said, "We're here. They're evil. Good enough reason. And besides, he says, you're going to find out after." So I said, "Okay, let's go." So I went back inside and we were fighting them and we were going this thing and everything else. And we finally got the guy, like he was calm. So then we switched right to the lady. And by the strength of, you know, Archangel Michael came down and, by the grace of God, we got the demon out of her and she woke up. Well, not woke up, but she sat up, looked like this, and looked around like she had no idea where she was, and fell off the table onto the ground asleep. Right. So I look. We right away go back to where the guy is. The guy starts laughing like like this, right? And literally, it was almost like he was levitating. I mean, the bottom part of his legs were still on the table, but his top half was starting to come up like this. Never seen anything like that. And it wasn't like he was bending at the waist because he was he was level, right? And it was just like he was started kind of like as if he was gonna just float to his feet and stand up on the table. Is what it looked like. I said so. At that point, I just went, "Astro, enough of this shit." And my hand burned, and I'm looking at my hand, and it looks like it's on fire. And it was Astro. He takes his hand, and goes bam on the guy's chest. The guy hit the table so hard that the table and the floor and the cupboards and the kitchen, everything started rattling. You could hear the dishes in the cupboards rattling. And Astro said, "Enough." And it wasn't my voice. I mean, I couldn't even get that low or that loud or that growly. Astro just said, "Enough." And then all of a sudden, four bright lights from different directions came. Well, my hand, which by the way, I couldn't have done it, uh, was holding this guy down. These four lights come, and then it's like this smoke comes out of the guy, and then it's kind of like ripped into four, and they bugger off with the light. And then the guy comes to, just like his wife did, starts crying, says, thank you, falls off the table, and he's out cold, right? I says, "Okay, you're welcome." And I'm still, oh, I'm so angry, because these people, there's so many people that get attacked that don't ask for it, that don't get help, because I mean, you got to go where it's the worst case. And I hate to say it, but it's like a trauma center. You have to categorize what case is worse. Well, because it was two people at the same time with like unheard of strength demons, it took priority over everybody else, which upset me because they kind of put themselves uh, in that position, right? So I was mad. And so I told the other two, the priest and the pastor that was there, says, "Okay, I'm out. I've done my job. Don't call me for 6 weeks because I'm done." Right. So I left the building, and as I'm going down the stairs, and I put my hand on it, it's warm to the touch. Right. No frost anywhere. No door handle shaking. No nothing. It's so peaceful, and it was warm in the building. And I'm like, well, I guess we did a good job. And I got to the sidewalk, and I started walking to my car. All of a sudden, I got really dizzy. I woke up, I think it was 17 days, something like that, later in the hospital. I slipped into some kind of like a minor coma sort of a deal because I had used up so much energy and I had, when you do this, it wipes you out, right? Like it really wipes you out. Like I've, you know, spent lots of time after doing this and just sometimes to recuperate. Sometimes it's just because you're so dehydrated, you know. Um, Sometimes it's just plain ordinary exhaustion. But I've got you end up in the hospital a few times, and when you do this kind of work. But so it wasn't something I was surprised with at that point. Anyway, I got home And I was talking with the spirits and talking with Astro and everybody, and I was saying, you know what? Um, I think first I got to do is because I try never to lose my humor. So I said the first thing we got to do is go to the store because I need to buy 4 or 5 new pairs of pants and 17 pairs of underwear. And then secondly, I think I quit. I think I'm done. I just want to be out of this. I want to retire because I'm tired of working for idiots that don't give a damn about anybody but themselves. Okay. And that's where the biggest lesson of my life came in right there. Because I had such a anger for these people and I was judging them so nasty. I hate myself for doing it, but because I'm not like that. Anyone that knows me knows I don't judge people ever, and I don't do this type of thing. But man, I was down on these people. But then I found out not long after that, these people totally changed their life around. Okay. 3 days after they got freed, they rented an old storefront store for very cheap because it was in a pretty bad area of town, and collected all kinds of pants, shirts, socks, everything. And they put a big sign on the door: if you need pants, clothing of any type, uh, come on in. Especially if you are a veteran, or a homeless person, please come in, and we will suit you up. And so they would give these people blankets and all the stuff like toothpaste, all the hygiene stuff you could think of, they were giving out for free. All this clothes that they gathered was for free. And 4 months later, they started a walk-in for breakfast, lunch, and supper for veterans and homeless people, 3 meals a day, and they fed all these people for free. Never took a dime, right? And when the city saw all the work they were doing, the city took over paying for the place and paid all the heating bills and everything else, and it it was all ran on by donations from other people. Okay, and I'm thinking, I thought these people were useless piece of skin, right? Waste of life. They've been doing that every day. They never took a day off for over 27 years. I thought, wow, what a lesson, right? This is why you can't judge people. You know? And I always believe you don't judge. Like you don't. Everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to their beliefs. I never judge a person's, whether they're rich or whether they're broke, whether they're gay, straight, whatever. None of that crap matters to me. The only thing that ever matters to me is if you got a good heart, you try to do good, and you don't hurt other people, you're in my good books, right? That's it. Everything else is just icing on the cake. So that's all that matters to me. And I've never judged anybody, but these two, I went back, like they had the store open for about 2 weeks, and they were just starting to try to figure out how to do the breakfast, lunch, and supper. And I had to. I went there and I told them, look, I owe you guys an apology because basically I thought you were a useless piece of skin. And I was so angry at you for bringing this shit into your life, when I could have been helping someone else. And thank you for the lesson. You know, I never judge anyone, but for whatever reason, I judged you guys, and I apologize because I was way off base. And they started crying, and they said, "If anyone has a right to judge us, brother, you do. You saved our lives and our souls." You know. But anyway, I asked them if they'd forgive me and if we could say a prayer together, and They said they would be honored. So we did. And I'll be right back.
You're good, Danny. I know that's got me tearing up a little bit myself. I can imagine what it's like to relive. Guys, if you have not checked out Danny's channel, please go do so. It's called Chasing Bones and Specters. The link is down in the description. Like I said, Danny's one of a kind. He's an awesome guy, and he has been through a lot in the paranormal field. And when he does get back, he is doing some classes. I know he does a deal on his channel called So You Want to Be a Paranormal Investigator. That gives you all kinds of information. If you are new to paranormal investigating and you want to learn, that is the best place to go to get lots of vital information before you go out investigating. He is also doing classes right now. So if you are interested in stuff like that, we'll let him explain that for a minute when he gets back. If anybody has any questions that you have for Danny, please put them in the chat and we will try to get to them before the time runs. Thank you so much, Jared, for showing Danny some love. I appreciate it. You may hear a little bit of noise in the background. It's dinner time around my house and everybody's kind of grabbing their own right now.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to take a minute.
You are just fine, Danny. I can understand that can get to you. That stuff sticks to you, and it definitely memorable. I was just explaining to everyone about your deals that you have on your channel. So you want to be a paranormal investigator, and I was telling them about the classes you're starting.
Oh yeah. Well, right now I've got 20 students in this class in this semester. Right now we're studying, and I'm teaching them about the 4 directions, the 4 colors, what the colors mean, how the world is and everything in the world is connected as one, and it's basically going to be like there's going to be like 12 different classes with this group. It's full right now. I mean, I can't do any more of that. But it's a private class. I mean, but I also will be doing other classes periodically through the weeks. That's open invitation for anybody that wants to come in. Obviously, I mean, you're more than welcome to it. To join me on those classes, and yeah, I mean, if there's anything that anyone ever wants to know or needs help with or whatever, like Amy will tell you, if I can, I will do whatever I can to help you out, and like I say, everything that I teach, though, okay, guys, is not written in stone. It's not written in some book somewhere. It's what I've learned from my own experiences and from the things on how I've dealt with so many different things, and training, of course, from the druids and the shamans and I'm a pastor and stuff like that. But it's not what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you or anybody else. What works for you will not necessarily work for me, right? So anything that I teach, it's like, okay, this is what I do. This is how I do it, and if it will work for you, if you can adapt it even in any way, uh, feel free. Feel free to use it. I have absolutely no problem. And anything at all on my channel that you can see that if you watch it or whatever, if you like the ideas, feel free to adapt them. You don't have to ask me. The reason it's on there is I like to help my community as much as humanly possible. And anything on my channel is for all of you. If you can use any of the information or if you can adapt any of it to you, then feel free. If something doesn't, if you can't use that part, I don't care. Don't use it. But if there's something that could be helpful to you, well, by all means, please feel free to take it and adapt it and change it so it will help you. That's why it's there. So
that is awesome. And you guys definitely want to check out those videos because that has definitely helped me a lot. And a lot of the stuff that I was unsure about And I understand everyone does their investigations different, but he gives you so many different ways of doing stuff and even making your own equipment at home. He has a lot of great ideas on that. So if you can't afford to go out and buy certain pieces of equipment because you know they can be expensive, he gives you great alternatives to in making your own. So definitely go check that out. Danny, is there anything coming up on your channel that you want to tell everybody about before we have to go?
Yeah, I've got one job coming up on Wednesday. It's a job. It's not a investigation. However, I've got permission from the diocese and the people in this apartment complex, as long as they're not uh, being shown, I am allowed to uh, use any information, films, and evidence I get that I deem safe for YouTube. Um, I can put it on my channel. So the investigation part, that's going to be on Wednesday, where I investigate all the claims and everything else and do that. Anything that's not going to, give some child nightmares forever, I'm going to put on my channel so you can see how I do the job thing and the different things that I do. It's just for you guys, for the YouTubians and the Wolfpack, so that you can see, okay, this is the difference between when I go out and investigate and have fun investigating, and this is the job, right? So there's going to be clips of how I set stuff up, trying to catch evidence at the job site. There may or may not show up during some of this. Some might not. But unless it's something that I think is inappropriate for a young child to see, like I keep my channel PG-13, right, the best I can, and but I don't ever want to put anything up there about the paranormal that's going to scare a young child or scare a person or whatever. So I won't put that on there. But anything with the fact collecting and things like, I'm going to put that on there on this. This will be like 3 or 4 times I was able to put uh, some of the work stuff on the channel just so people can see the difference. So this is one of those cases where I get to put some of the stuff on the channel for you guys to watch. Um, some of it, like the crossing over of the good spirits, I might put that on the channel. Okay. The one spirit that's there that came from Africa, no, you're not going to see that. Okay. I don't want to see that. So you're not going to see that. Okay. But yeah, whatever I can that I feel it is, PG rated, I'm going to definitely put on the channel so you guys can just, see the difference between just doing a normal investigation or when you've got to buckle down and take care of business. Okay. So that's what's happening on Wednesday. Um, I might go live tonight or tomorrow just for fun. And I've got a couple fun investigations that are in the works that are going to happen very shortly. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Amen. Thank you, people.
Yeah, you got a few people on here that have definitely come and showed your channel some love.
I love it. Thank you so much. I
You will
appreciate
not
it.
be disappointed. I feel like I'm very close to Danny in the sense that I can feel his feelings as well. And he definitely got my heartstrings a while ago. But whenever he's having fun and laughing, he just definitely makes you laugh right along with him. He also does card readings and very good at it. He also does spirit box. So make sure you go check out his channel because you're going to find something different on there. And there's always something for everyone. So
yeah, and every once in a while, my character I made up, Gotta Be Bob Ike, comes on with the news or some other thing. His name's Gotta Be Bob Ike. Basically, it's just a little comic relief that I put on my channel once in a while. So you might enjoy Gotta Be Bob Ike. A lot of people do. So
that is awesome. So I know I heard a little while back you were mentioning something about maybe retiring soon. Is that still in the works, or you?
well, I was supposed to be retired March 15th, my 52nd year. I was supposed to be done and dusted. But since then, I've got major things that need to be taken care of for the council that they want me to go check into and stuff. So no, I guess I'm not retiring. I'm just going to be semi-retired, and occasionally I will do work, but not like I used to. But if there's a certain case that comes up that they feel, because the next person under me, you know, I asked him if he wanted to do it, and he said, "Not a chance, pal. You're on your own." I'm he says, "I'm not doing that." He says, "I'll go with you, but he says and help you out as but no." So there's actually no one to take my spot. On the very dangerous ones or where there's kids involved or whatever, I'm still going to be doing that. So we're going to try to get to 55 years, I guess. Uh,
Well, if
hopefully,
anybody
Greg
can do it,
will.
you can't.
Hopefully, Greg will be able to take over for me, in the next 3 years or so, and then I can just do like very, very occasionally sort of a thing. Um, but yeah, so no, I can't quit because they won't let me. So
It's definitely in your blood too. So even retired, I don't see you being fully retired.
yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I just
Yeah.
the last job I did last Wednesday. See, because there was have I got time to tell you this or
Yes, go right ahead.
okay? The last job I did for the council was at an apart well at a house. Let's just say a house. It's kind of like a um, condo thing. But anyway, the this couple went, and their kids bought this place, and at first it was okay, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where I wasn't even going to look at this case, but Greg went over, and a couple other people went over, talked to these people, and they came and said, "No, no, 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 dude, you're going to have to do this one, right?" So I went over, talked to them, and I'm sitting there, and there's these kids, and I'm looking up at the bedroom wall, okay, and there is a perfect imprint in the drywall, about an inch and a half thick, okay, of a child's body pressed into the wall. But the problem is, it's 7 feet off the ground, right? I says, "What happened here?" She says, "No one will believe me." I says, "I'll believe you. What happened here?" She did. My son was lying there, and all of a sudden, the room shook and the light shook, and he went flying from his bed up into the wall. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I thought, well, I'm going to research this. I'm going to go to the catacombs, get the information I need from there. So I found out the history of the place, all right. And nobody told them that this happened in this house, which uh, by law you're supposed to, right? Well, anyway, a few years back, this other family owned it, and this guy, just out of the blue, he stood up with a shotgun and shot all three of his kids. The oldest one was 7. Shot all three of his kids in the chest, killed them. Turned the shotgun on his wife, shot her twice in the face, and then he shot himself. Right? All in this house. It's them that's there. It was them that was in the building. Right? Now, it turned out that this arsehole, you know, that killed his wife and his kids, he was still holding his family hostage. They couldn't leave. They were stuck there because he wouldn't let them go. And it would have done them absolutely no good moving because they would go out of the house and go to their aunt's place or whatever, and furniture would fly at them, or like all kinds of shit would happen. Like wherever they went, he'd go and cause hell for them. So they had no place to go. They were stuck in this house, and it really pissed me off. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to deal with this guy." So I walked. I did everything I could and everything else, and I said to the family, I said, "Okay, kids, ma'am, who are being held by this guy, he ain't gonna hold you no more. You're free to go." And So I put down what was needed for the passage, free passageway first. And the mother, I looked at her and I saw her, right? And she was devastated, like terribly. And I smiled at her. I said, you know, you don't need to wear that death outfit. Eh? She goes, what? I said, you don't have to look like that. You're a spirit. All you got to do is focus on who you want to be, what you want to look like. And that's who you're going to look like. You don't need to wear that mask anymore. All of a sudden, there was a glow about the spirit, right? And everything else. And the kids too, right? The kids are going, looking at themselves like, where'd the hole go? So anyway, I said to them, okay, you guys, whenever you see the light, wherever it is, I don't know where the light is. I can't tell you where to go. But you're going to see a light. It might be just like a tiny little hole. And if you pull on it, it turns out to be like a timeline or a string or something. It's called a tether line. If you grab onto that, it'll take you to where you're supposed to go. You're not supposed to be here, you know, and your family and your loved ones and everything else, I assume, will be there. And the lady says, you don't know? I says, ma'am, that's above my pay grade. I honestly have no idea where you're going or what's going to happen or whatever. But I guarantee you one thing, it'll be a hell of a lot better than this, you know, wherever you go. Other than that, it's above my pay grade, dear. I couldn't tell you where I have no idea. She said, well, someone should know. I says, there's nobody on earth that knows. That's a secret kept for you guys. Okay. We don't know. There's no such thing as a professional or no such thing as someone who knows that. Because if anyone ever says to you, by the way, that they're a professional, you tell them that I said, take a long, hard suck on my ass because there is no such thing. I've been at this 52 years and I learn new shit every day. There's no such thing as a professional. Okay. Anyway, so I told her, I says, you go ahead and move on. So they started moving towards, and all of a sudden, this big black shadow came. And I went, Astro chokeslam that asshole, you know. And all of a sudden, you see the shadow go, whap, bam. I start laughing. I says, okay, right now he's tied up. It's probably best you guys take off, you know. And they left. It was that simple. They were gone. And I was like, wow, awesome. You know, they finally got free. So I was so happy. But so then I turned my attention to this jerk. I said, okay, bitch, me and you, we could have some fun right now. So anyway, I ended up saying a few things that I won't say here because, you know, I was very angry with this guy. And so, yeah, uh, I beat the living shit out of him best I could and then sent him on his way. So that's what that was. Anyway, that was the last case. That was last Wednesday. So, like the last 4 or 5 days, I've been just kind of recuperating and getting my energy back and stuff like that. But that's the job, right? Which is now explains to you why I love going on paranormal investigations because I don't have to worry about any of that shit.
Most definitely. And Danny, I hate that we're here at the end of it because I could listen to you tell your stories all day long. And if you guys want to keep hearing stories from Danny and seeing his investigations and stuff, please get that link that is in the description. You will not be disappointed, I promise you.
Thank you.
Danny, I appreciate you so much for coming up and spending this time with us and sharing your experiences.
Oh, you're very welcome. Hey, listen, before I go, I just want to tell you something, sister. Uh, you know, I've been with you from the get-go, and I just want everyone to know how much I love you, you know, and I love my niece, you know, and how proud I am of you guys of what you do. Okay.
Thank you so much, Danny. That means a lot coming from you. And we
You
love
keep
you.
doing you keep doing what you're doing because you guys are special. Don't ever change, okay? Love you.
Love you, Danny. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everybody. Blessings. Thank you for coming in and joining some time with me. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for spending time with my sister. Give her lots of love and hugs and all that stuff. All right. Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, Danny. Thank you.
Bye, sweetie. See you later.
Danny is an awesome guy, guys. Make sure you go grab him up. And up next, we are going to be having Jason McLean. You may know him from Trinity Paracryptic Research. He is a co-host with Tex, and he is also an author. He has wrote several books. Tonight, we're going to be discussing a couple of his books that are based more on the paranormal cryptic side. So make sure you come over here and check him out. We're going to be starting that live stream very soon. So make sure you're at the next one. Love you guys. Thank you so much, Danny.